Dude, my whole stream crashed.
Subaru is the National Park Foundation's largest corporate donor, helping expand access for all.
Everything.
They got this. Unless it's Rhea Ritual.
Alright, we're
getting
continuing
really
off
close
with
now.
Rhea and
They get a little
Ritual.
dangerous here. As the water starts to heat up. Can they handle the pressure? But no. It's a little too much for Rhea, who gets taken down into a box, and the edit comes in, and now Ritual has to play this one out by himself. This is their chance to do something big. Ritual jumps in and gets melted by threats. Clix gets knocked in the feet as well. Are all of the competition falling here? And now is the question. But Epic Whale fends off a monster shot there. Gives him time to save Clix. And they gotta at least rake into like 520, 530, 540 if they want a chance in the last game to potentially be the grand finals winners here. Aviv and Booga are doing just that. Pushing everyone back now.
Look, 25th placement, that's 3 points. Every placement above that only continues to build up. Epic was asking him to step it up earlier on the day. It seems he's done just that. Definitely a clutch moment for him to bring Clix back into the lobby, finds that revive after getting a successful elimination, putting more pressure onto the rest of the lobby to also stay upright here. Peterbot, Pollo, they recognize the fact, first place, pulling ever so much further away from us. They know they need a big match here if they want to keep in contention with Acorn and Cold. Same story though for Aviv and Booga as they continue to build. One more elimination upon the next.
It's close to Epic Whale versus Peterbot and Boyo here. But Duke comes in from the flank and just deletes Peterbot while his guard was let down. And now Boyo has to play this out by himself. But then it comes through. And it is Dukes who gets finished off there. So close. He almost 2v1'd him, but Clix and Epic Whale time it perfectly. And just like that, down goes Peterbot in the 600-point threshold range. So it's still a good game for them, but it's not going to be enough as Acorn and Cold start marching their way to 700. Clix and Epic now have a chance to jump up into second. This is crazy to think that Cold and Acorn are just looking like a completely different duo, separate from what and the type of performance they put in during the semifinals. Like, their finals performance so far has been very, very solid, rock solid.
And the news just keeps getting better still because Booga being knocked, now fully limbed. You can imagine that the feed probably retailing that information towards Acorn and Cold. Aviv doing everything he can, grapple blading, trying to stay moving along with this zone.
I think Acorn just got knocked. Yup, Cold is by himself now. This is huge. He's only at 702 points. If Cold falls now, I mean, that's going to be the lead given away. But no, he's still fighting for it. And this is what we've seen Cold do a lot this weekend. Cold has literally backpacked Acorn a couple of times this weekend already. But most importantly, when it mattered on Sunday, right here, right now, he continues to do it. And look at this, a little bit of Fortnite favor. The zone bounces back towards Acorn Cold, so he has a little bit more time here to rotate now with the lead, but there's a team on his tail.
Keep in mind, Aviv, he's got the exact same intentions as Cold. He knows that he can't afford to go down just yet. Doesn't want to let first place slip that much further away from where Aviv and Booga currently sit in the standings. Aviv doing everything in his power, going to opt to drop towards that low ground, even though it's going to be a more congested side of the zone. Doesn't have any mats, doesn't have any builds, forced to take this box fight instead, but 2 versus 1, and 2 is better than 1. Aviv has fallen now. Muzz and Paper on the rise.
That's it. Cold's immediate competition is down and out. Epic Whale gets knocked there. Like, this is looking better and better right now for Cold and Acorn's last game. Clix gets taken out as well now. And he is just leading here. And look who's alive. Kanata and Agers. Had they just had a better day one, they would surely be top 3 right now. Just incredible to see Kanata and Agers also having a little bit of a a moment for themselves. I've seen them continuously jumping to the feet, but look at Code Gold continuing the onslaught here. He falls inside the top 8. Another top 10 performance for them. Zeke and Dash turning online as well. Very consistent here today.
And Zeke and Dash, they have the chance to completely
Wait,
bamboozle the
Chris did not
entirety
say
of the
high ground.
lobby.
What?
Given how many points they'd already jumped up from that last match, but Noxy, they also want to find a victory royale on the day if possible to seriously put them into contention for threatening that top 5 of the leaderboard. They could start here. One more pickup onto Zooks. Dasharuni fully exposed. Noxy gonna light him up as a punishment for it. Chris has both of the med kits though. Between himself and Noxy, chop really quick. Dasharuni not gonna be able to close it out.
Game
Chris
11,
and
Noxy
they
and Chris.
hold
I can't
on
put it
to-
in chat because that will
I
make
think we can still
extremely
call that
tragic
somewhat
again.
of a
But
high
let's
ground,
go.
but more importantly of all, the fact they managed to maintain their position over the rest of the lobby
Alright.
is ultimately what led to them finding that final
be
elimination
right back.
onto Dasharuni, but still a really deep run out of Zeke and Dasharuni. Bound to have built up a good amount of points there.
They were positioned best by far. I mean, they had the high ground. They didn't overcommit too much, and they had just enough material to make it through the end game there, and even farming any opportunity that they had right there. And look at this, it comes back towards the Rift Island, so this could have gotten real spooky, real different, real quick. But for Noxy and Chris, congratulations to them. They take a grand finals victory royale here in game number 11, and you really like to see that, because that's going to put them up in the 500 point threshold, closer to top 5, right? There's a lot of prizing that we're seeing become available right now as you continue to work your way up through this top 10.
Yeah, there is definitely some pretty drastic jumps amongst even the placements within the top 10, but you know who else found themselves inside of that top 10? Acorn, Cold. We saw him make his placement run all that much further extended for Acorn and Cold. So their spot up on the leaderboard, it's got to be feeling awfully comfortable right now. But with one match left to go, I want to get it back over to Zeke, Vivid, and Kelly to let us know everything that actually took place in game number 11.
I feel like I've just blinked and I missed the competition. I started the day, and now here we are in the final one of major number 1, and we are right here about to crown FNCS champions. I also just cannot believe this last game. It feels like the games of it have gotten more and more chaotic as these have kind of gone on. It started like a really explosive, really fun game, and then suddenly here we are. Teams falling, solos left alive, and then Noxy and Chris taking away a victory royale. And as Monster called out, because of that VR, suddenly these guys are finding themselves in top 5.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, Noxy and Chris coming into the day 11th place, into that game specifically 12th. So they've been kind of tinkering around top 10 this entire time and coming out with a victory royale in game number 11. That is how you put yourself in contention for some of these larger prizes. Shout out for them for clutching up right there. 11 eliminations as well. That's huge.
Yeah, huge performance there. Definitely going to shoot them up the leaderboard. And regardless of getting first or not, you definitely want to be higher up on the leaderboard, because that's where more money is and more opportunity, of course.
Back.
Landing on Coastal Comms, Noxy and Chris have been doing a pretty good job, even back in day 1. But not breaking into our top 10. Obviously, we're not going to see them as much, but might be looking at another success from them in the final game of the day. I can't believe we're already here, Zeke.
I know. Again, it's like these games have just been wild, and I wish we could just play another 6, but this is it. One left to go. Let's set the stage with the standings. Who leads the pack? Has something changed?
I wonder.
No, it hasn't.
No.
Acorn and Cold only continue to develop their lead, but Vivid.
Takes in the top
Now
5.
that
Let's
we
go.
kind of had
bro.
this opportunity to say, okay, well,
Let's
Acorn
go.
and Cold, if they just held on, they repeat, they walk away champions, okay? So I want to take a step back. I want to look at everybody else. Because where did Booga and Aviv come from?
Hey, listen.
Where?
They've been playing around with top 10 throughout the entire competition, and to see them in second place, really no surprise. We are in for one heck of a final game. I mean, look at that. That performance from Noxy and Chris all the way in game number 11. Still potential for them to jump up 8 places. That just tells stories about how this leaderboard can really change with just this one last game, Kelly. So everybody on this leaderboard, if they want to hold on to these spots, they really do have to perform.
And I mean, Bugha and Aviv were in 6th place after day one. They did absolutely phenomenal. We saw them get a 2nd place today. And honestly, I think that last game, it was less of what is Bugha and Aviv doing right and more of Peterbot and Pollo going down a little early, Clicks and Epic Whale going down a little early, Re and Ritual going down a little early. And I think even at the halfway point, Vivid, we saw that 6th through 10th was gone.
Yep.
So that definitely was kind of the shake-up game I expected earlier on. But to see Aviv have the solo run right here, he tried as hard as he could, but when you have so much going on around you, there's only so much you can do.
Absolutely. Okay. This is it. Last game of the day. What do we want to see? What is it that we want to see happen with this final opportunity? What can duos do? Is there a duo you guys have eyes on that you're like, I just want to see them have the game of their career right here, right now? Talk to me.
Yeah, honestly, there is a duo that I've been kind of eyeing throughout day number 2, and we haven't really had an opportunity to talk about them. They ended day number 1 in 30th place after being surprise contested. It's going to be none other than Kanata and Aegis. I feel like we've seen them in almost every single endgame in day number 2. They haven't really been able to define themselves, getting into like the top 3 where we're kind of used to seeing them. But right now they're in 12th place and starting the day in 30th and already being at 12th place. Hey, listen, there is a lot of opportunity for them to jump maybe even into that top 5.
I'm interested in the story between Aviv and Bugha and Peterbot and Pollo. I think at this point it's a 140 almost point lead between 1st and 2nd place. And we saw Bugha get a 2nd place in the most recent major, which was Chapter 4 Major 3. And we know that there's history between Bugha and Peterbot. So I'm excited to see these two kind of battle it out and who's going to be able to claim 2nd.
Yeah, really quickly, I wanted to bring up the placements here to see what players will walk away in what placements. How much money are we talking for Bugha and Aviv to go head-to-head with Peterbot and Pollo? Look at the difference, $20,000. And here they are fighting for that $20,000 east. But even just keep in mind this last game, suddenly jumping up 12
I mean, we already know
placements,
Acorn
from
Cold won,
11
like,
to 15,
whatever,
up to top 5. That's insane. So whatever happens in this next game, Fortnite fam, y'all cheer on all of these duos, okay? Because this is the final game of the NAFNCS. After this, we crown champions. We claim spots on the battle bus going to the globals. It's all to play for right here, right now. One final ride. Let's get into it. Taco, MDF, over to you.
Woo! We definitely have a lot to look forward to here as we're gearing up for the FNCS Grand Finals champion. We're going to find out here shortly. Taco, let's get some early predictions. Do you think Acorn and Cold are going to hold it?
It would be a very difficult. I think it's more difficult for Acorn and Cold to lose it than what it would be for them to essentially hold on to this lead at this point. Something that Alden was so kind to point out, Prodigy Analytics on Twitter, for those of you that might not be aware, Acorn and Cold are just one of 2 teams, Sphinx and Pump being the other, that haven't had a single 0-point game. So if you're hinging on Acorn and Cold making a mistake, you're going to be waiting a while, because the few mistakes that have taken place, they've been able to double back on and overcome. Impressive stuff all around. Certainly what you would expect the consistency to be of an AXA champion holder, but Game 12 is here. It's ready to determine who's actually going to win.
Well, here we have it. Game number 12 of the Grand Finals is going to kick off. And we'll see if Acorn and Cold are regretting the fact that NPC took 6 points from them when we started the day, or not. Essentially, it's Aviv, Bugha, Peterbot, and Pollo's game to try to fight for. And again, we already know the triple contested first place leaders coming out of game 11, Acorn and Cold, still have a lot to fight for. And judging by the map, judging by the way the zone's playing out, they're still very much in the same area with the same situation and issues arising all around them. But take a look here. We're going to start things off with a new perspective here of Tahi, who's just getting situated here at the Classy Courts as other players are starting to take to the world right now. We already know that last game didn't go well for Baka and Pars, who got unfortunately taken out by a third party and then finished off by Chance and Aaron here, but this is what we wanted to see from them last game, and had they just won that last game, it makes you wonder that they'd be up in the top 3 conversation right now.
Right now, it's just about even trying to break into top 5 for Baka and Pars. Chance, Aaron, as per usual, being that initial engagement that Baka and Pars are going to embark upon. Pars getting credit for 1 elimination so far. But as far as adaptations are concerned, one that would be nice is if Baka and Pars choose not to lose focus and chase out the remaining teammate between Chance and Aaron, as we've already seen one time how detrimental that has been towards their overall gameplay of the day. And looking back here now at Fencing Fields, Acorn Cold, our current leading team of this Grands, and a little bit curious, MDF, because with EU we saw Malibuca Mustache. They won, sure, but guess where they won from? And if your guess isn't Fencing Fields, might be a little bit more than meets the eye about this POI, and have to believe that it starts with that mythic striker. That weapon, too good for its own right, but
Well,
also that.
We did say that yesterday too when we were just looking at Must and Paper's dominant performance. They were coming out the gate, and one of the breakdowns on the desk was like, "Hey guys, I think Fencing Fields, like, there's just something up here. Like, everyone's playing so well out of this job. I don't know if it's center or if it's just the weapons, like you mentioned, but there is definitely something nice in the water over there for sure."
Yeah, different kind of scene as well for Aviv and Buga entirely. Muzz Paper actually find themselves in a little bit of a predicament here. They made their usual rotation over to Ruined Reels, but TK, Bacon, it's actually Rise. Yamzo also lurking, but Bacon especially trying to piece up Paper. Paper not going to be able to buy enough space. He will fall. So Muzz Paper, E-limbed, and now Rise, Yamzo. So many shieldfish. Rise and Yamzo, they are just out for whoever. They want every elimination they can find.
Yeah, I think this is just the last hurrah right now for Yamzo to Rise. We already know Yamzo taking things a little tough right now, so for him, it's just a matter of finishing the day off strong, exiting on a solid performance, and honestly, so he keeps his head up alongside Rise right here.
Yeah, regardless of standings, Yamzo and Rise definitely solidifying themselves as number 1 in the hearts of many. Hoping for the best for them in this final lobby, but they are certainly not the only team trying to make their last stand here. It's Noxy and Crisp doing what they can against the likes of Freeze and Suscript. Suscript having already been eliminated. Now it's down to just Freeze to keep his teammates' final lobby hopes alive. Doing his best to juke around, and it's coming every which direction. But again, Crisp, Noxy closing in. Chris gonna be able to hold off the side ramp position, and it's just too much pressure.
Super clean with it. Just take a look. It's just
Water
making it
taking-
look like a creative game right here. Sizes him up, boxes him up, cones him in. No problem. Nice and easy. Must be playing Zone Wars. No doubt. Let's take a look at Peterbot and Boya right now, who have to do, I don't know, a lot. They want to start closing the gap. Considering that no one landed on Acorn and Cold, just tells us that, in my opinion, you're playing for top 3. You have to do something incredibly well to outperform Acorn and Cold with this amount of, points separating the two.
But you also can't get too distracted because Peterbot Pollo, they know that it's within their grasp for that first place standing. They need a phenomenal final match, and honestly for Acorn and Cole to suffer a slightly earlier departure from this lobby. Boy, Peterbot is slamming shots like that.
Yos.
Reaper, Sniper, someone needs to get this man in check. Because Peterbot being an absolute menace to the lobby all day today. And some of the shots that he's managed to build up here.
Hey, what more do you want? He's got the aim, he's got this forecast tower, so he's got the zone. That's it. You just can't stop him. He's an unstoppable, unmovable force. No doubt. It's so entertaining to watch play and compete at a high level. As is Vuga and Aviv, man. These guys have continued to, you know, just kind of fly under the radar, stay consistent, nothing too flashy. But we're watching, you know, all the pizzazz of some of the other players like Re and Ritual, Clix and Epic Whale. Man, Vuga and Aviv are just coasting right along the top of the standings here. Straight up to the money. Let's look at it. I'm telling you, the flash is definitely there. Clix is a special one indeed, but Epic Whale gets punished in the fight here, so it seems like Day must have turned and burned him with that auto shotgun, and I'm surprised Clix doesn't finish the battle here, but it just shows you how much more important it is to go for the distance.
It's the placements. Clix knows they're teeter-tottering in that 5th place position. And something I was going to mention earlier where we saw Peterbot with the god-tier snipe. It's that top 5, especially 2nd through 5th place. They are all very much within overlap range of each other. And Clix, main reason why he's willing to disengage against Redux and Day is because if even for a moment he slipped up while trying to initially recover Epic's reboot card, he knew that he was going to just find his tournament life. It was gone. It was over. But now, Skittles, Trashy, they spotted out a potential solo here. Clix trying to take the zipline and get away. Has the grapple blade as well. Quick with the wall. And it's going to be just enough. He's trying to create as much space as possible right now, but he has been forced to the far northwest side of the map. Just completely out here on his own, no man's land.
That's crazy,
And
man.
without a soul in sight, Clix has so much of a journey set in front of him now as he looks to get that reboot ban opportunity, bring Epic back into this match, and try and complete lobby number 12 as a team.
This lobby's cutting down really fast. Take a look here as we're in 70 clear territory right now. Last game of the evening. Everyone's trying to do their best to make a hero's effort here to climb up the standings. And what you're going to notice right now is that, you know, battles are going to be worth, quite literally, in some instances, thousands of dollars, in others, tens of thousands of dollars. Because once you start ranking your way up that top 10, everything starts to change.
See, for Clix and Epic Whale, though, that box fight up against Day and Redux, that has ultimately dictated how this final lobby is going to go for this team, because it's going to be just so, I don't want to say impossible, but definitely a lot more problematic, because even if Clix gets that reboot ban, again, him and Epic Whale, they weren't really able to acquire that much surge damage initially.
I'm a little bit concerned about we just saw Acorn and Cold for a second there. They're in a low ground position, trying to stay out of the line of sight of other players, and they have not fought in the early game. I am extremely concerned about their adjustment to slowing down their pacing right now, and whether or not they're even going to have enough damage. Granted, the lobby's moving pretty quickly as the player count starts to cut down, so it might just be the best play for the situation. But mixing it up now could change everything for them.
This lobby is moving so fast, though, if you compare it to every other one so far today. I mean, the fact that we are down to 68 players, MDF, and we're just about to enter Zone 4, by the way. We might find this lobby concluding before we even reach the final zone.
Vegan Booger right now, just trying to get situated here. Zone's going to start to come in, and again, this is a team that's no strangers to playing the late side of the timer as far as the early zones are concerned, and for the first time now, we're really tuning in with seeing essentially what makes this duo successful. But right now, they do have a team that's waiting here just at the top. They're going to catch this sound cue as soon as Bugha or Aviv grapple hooks over. No, I actually haven't seen them turn around. They have no idea that they're above them, and never really know how close danger can be.
We know Bugha loves to do these elaborate dead side rotations, but going to the literal peak of this mountain just to take advantage of the launch pad, it is a bit of a stretch there for Bugha and Aviv. And as to whether or not they'll be able to collect enough surge damage, but a good chance to check in, see how Clix and Epic Whale are faring since Clix's recovery mission went underway. And with Epic now being back in the game, it's just Baka and Pars who are going to be the next hurdle here for Clix and Epic. This is likely an engagement that Clix wants to try and take advantage of, but the issue is just doesn't have enough white HP.
But he's got a sniper. He's got a sniper, and this is everything that could set him up for success right now. If Clix hits the snipe, honestly, I'll just have to bring back the mug of the day and do bots. I'm putting it on the line at this point. I believe. Oh, there's a team behind him. Oh my gosh. I'm genuinely scared for a second. I was like, wait a second. Look at the map. And someone just goes rolling up, pre-fires the bush there. Click's supposed to be thinking the same thing. Adrenaline is peaking right now.
It's almost looking like a little bit of panic.
Oh yeah, he's pretty frazzled right now.
Clix won't be able to do a whole lot here out in the water, just hoping that he doesn't turn. It's essentially fishing bait, but
Team just left too. Another player over there.
they are getting sandwiched
Oh,
and X-Spawn
Clix.
Mew. They know they've got the advantage. They can tell just from the way that Clix is positioning himself, just from the way that he's disengaging, that this is a solo or a duo that is struggling super heavily. And they're going to try to pin him down. Clix is really going to have to depend on Epic if he wants to make it out of that one alive.
Look what's happening here. So many big pots here to work with. Wouldn't be surprised if Ritual and Reek go for some more bold
Once in paper and
exchanges
cannot,
here.
Agers are
They can
dead.
afford to do so right now. And maybe that's part of the adjustment that they made, right? As they started gearing up. Fighting for these Rift Islands, fighting for some of these weapon cache. I mean, it makes all the difference once you have that many extra heals to work with. Acorn and Cold, ever so close nearby. And like we said, they position themselves in this kind of low ground area. I was concerned with how much damage did they manage to find, and maybe it was enough because Acorn has a sniper, right? That definitely determines and changes things a lot.
Usually, if at least one player out of the duo has that sniper, yeah, you can expect them to be taking on the bulk of that responsibility for managing the surge strategy and getting that damage threshold up to an ample amount, so that way you can just operate prioritizing solely on positioning. And that does seem to be the case for Acorn and Cold. They seem a little bit too calm, a little bit too relaxed. When you think about how fast-paced this lobby has been, and for Acorn and Cold to just kind of be sitting there, it's almost like watching the eye of the storm, essentially. And Clix and Epic, this is Oliver OG, Asian Jeff now. One team after the next for these two.
Important fight for them, though, to find a refresh here. They need the mats. They need the heals. They could truly do with a big pickup right now. And I'm just waiting for the sniper tag from Clix to come through and set things up, and he finds it right here. It's not the headshot he wanted, but the body tags would be more than enough. Just a wall short right there would have been the difference to him fully committing in, and Epic Will's close and personal right now.
But the way that Clix started to push Golden and Ozone inwards, For a moment there, it almost looked as if Golden and Ozone were going to get sandwiched between Clix Epic and Asian Jeff, Oliver OG, but instead, Oliver OG, Asian Jeff, a little bit too separated from this current engagement. Now it could be potentially X-Pawn Mew. Have to keep in mind, they caught eyes of Clix way over yonder when Clix was still even making this initial rotation towards Classy Course. The fact that they followed him all the way here indicates that X-Pawn Mew, they also want elimination points, or at the very least surge damage.
What's insane is all those teams up there, minus Jeff and Oliver, have like either no shield, half shield, coming out the zone, look like they're in shambles. Like everyone on that dead side rotate is having a pretty tough game right now. And I talked about Acorn and Cold having this problem potentially with the damage that they've allocated to this game, and they are definitely below. But the monstrous shot that I have to assume is some ridiculous snipe by Acorn set them up to get a down body right here, but no, actually, never mind. No elimination credit. They might have just been gifted a downed body from someone else, and they find the tags that they need off of that. You know, sometimes you just need a little bit of luck on your side. A lot of skill, but a little bit of luck.
Almost feels like destiny at this point for Cold and Acorn, but they still want to take their fate into their own hands, still trying to have control over things. Peterbot, there's one thing that's been consistent with this big day. It is the headshot snipes. We find where that supply drop came from. Dasha Rooney falling from the sky. Just the nastiest snipes on the day here from Peterbot.
It's just, what do you say? So good. Oh, the pre-fire through the wall. You love to see it. Look, with the sniper in hand, Peterbot is definitely in his prime right now. It just seems like
honestly,
things are lining up for him this season, and you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm talking about an insane story that's coming together right now. Clix and Epic Whale putting together this game right here when
two
just
above.
against
Okay,
all odds,
that's
Clix
not
have to
bad.
play for the ridiculous save
Despite
of
saying
Epic
how
Whale, and then
absolutely shambles they were.
absolute clutch disengages
God.
just to be in the
That
run right
itself.
now. So impressive. Clix and Epic Whale have been so impressive this season. They have to be proud of their performance, regardless of what end results come out of it. But I'm sure they wouldn't be too mad with a top 3 or something.
Wow.
Look at the X-Pawn tag right there. Beautiful sniper shot from Clix.
Like, it might not be a headshot, but body shots still count. Epic as well. Gonna take full advantage of this campfire. Very fortunate one as well, because Epic, Clix, they don't have any white heals of their own. So depending on the map and what it naturally provides, can go a long way sometimes. Aviv and Bugha, though, been a minute since we checked in to see how things have been shaping up for these two. In the final lobby of Grands. Crisp and Noxy, though, if Epic and Clix saw that knock just now, probably hoping that Crisp won't actually be able to get the revive off. And it is going to be an unsuccessful attempt here. X-Pawn,
Okay, Grandiose
Mew,
finally made it
they're
off
gonna
spawn.
force themselves into the box. So Crisp and Noxy now being knocked out of the count. This could be the chance here for Clix and Epic to find themselves with the potential top 4, if not top 3 finish, depending on how things go for Aviv and Bugha.
Yeah, definitely. And Clix and Epic had a good amount of points ahead of their 6th place, competitors. So this is a top 4 lining up right now for Clix and Epic Whale. They can just start earning some placement points. For Aviv and Bugha, though, they have to turn up the eliminations now if they want to stay on pace with Peterbot and Boyo. Placement points aside, because look at how light the lobby is right now. You have to assume performance is probably feeling pretty solid, but more importantly, this game's ending really quickly, and the placement points are just around the corner, right? So that means the elims are going to start to run light. Cold is going to find elimination in the feed there onto Tahi, so things are starting to add up right now for even Acorn and Cold.
Reading Ritual, though, hoping that they can find some of the same gift exchanges that Acorn and
What
Cold
happened?
have stumbled upon here today. But Cold, whether it's a supply drop via
Tahi.
Peterbot, finding a snipe off the Dasher Rooney, or just taking advantage of Symphon and Tahi
What a lame
being
replay.
pressured inside of their box to expose there on the side. Cold making quick work of Tahi. Big elimination as well to just continue building up their gap between 1st and 2nd place.
Golden Acorn dead center right now as well. And there it is, finally. One of those eliminations that,
No way Click
Clicks
wins.
really needed to kind of get him in the
If they do, I'll
situation
be
to have
very
some
surprised.
material. Not the greatest amount from the pickup. So we're just going to have to run this back and see exactly who it was that he took out. Oh, it's going to be Rise here. He finds with a big tag there. Drops him down likely into this box here shortly after. There it is, the shotgun to catch him. And then the full finish there.
Tough stuff for Yamzo and Rise, but again, their struggles today have been so unique and different in comparison to a lot of these other teams battling it out.
Different.
Regardless
Yeah,
of where
that's already
Yamzo and Rise
right.
end up in the final leaderboard, they are absolute warriors for their performance here today. As now Peterbot, Pollo, they're actually trying to be the warriors of the low ground. Decent amount of tarp space already built out here. Good amount of builds still remain as well. And with no real high ground having been established just yet, it's all going to be about who can actually take control of frontside zone.
Aviv and Booga right now staying active. Like you said, in control of zone here. But the material looking a little light. Heals, a little worse for wears. Could we be seeing Booga and Aviv come short right now? As the team jumps in, it's Oliver OG, it's Jeff. But this might be a best case scenario. If they can win, of course, because they get delivered everything that Oliver and Jeff have to offer them, but Aviv gets knocked. Booga unfortunately slips off the side, and the pressure from other players starts to come in, and very, very skilled disengage, though. He drops straight down here and will likely be able to save his team, but no, those teams want more, and they are down and out. This is prime time runway right now for Pollo and Peterbot, but more importantly, Clicks and Epic Whale have more room to potentially jump up to top 3 now, as Cold and Acorn seemingly are uncatchable.
And not only that, but for Clicks and Epic Whale, Clicks' highest performance was all the way back, Chapter 3, Season 3. He got a 4th place finish with Dukes. You know he wants 3rd or higher here on the day. With Booga and Aviv no longer being in that lobby, it's a very real possibility. High ground, but can they maintain it? That has been their struggle. Whenever they go for the high overtakes, getting some good pressure now into secondary height is Clicks. Epic, they need to maintain their awareness, though, when they're controlling that high ground. Peterbot did an excellent job to find a knock of his own onto LeBron James. And now grappling, trying to maintain pace with the rest of the lobby, trying not to get focused out either.
And I just want to say, if all games are going to go for high ground, the last one, when no one or everyone has everything to gain, nothing to lose, essentially, as it's the end of the day, is so incredibly risky. Look at Peterbot, look at Pollo. They're moving up for a reason right now. And when you give them enough time, when there's not enough pressure and they can size up your position, it's all or nothing. Even Oliver OG decides to try to go for it. And I think Clicks and Epic are really taking a bold move right here. And they will need a refresher if they want to maintain this, because other teams are going to start coming up here soon.
They've got their eyes set currently on
Huge
Oliver. Big pickup find as well. That material going to be much needed. Ritual all the while on the low ground. Miro, it's Cooper. They're going to be eliminated. Cold Acorn now proving to be another set of foes here.
Oh
But
my
they just
God.
claim Chubbs instead. Bryce possibly still running around as a solo. Pollo, though, on the other hand, he is definitely a solo here. No Peterbot. Higher
going.
taken out.
Catching points, making noise here. Pollo is not giving up. He wants to hold this positioning for as long as possible right now. Epic Whale gets broken off of the high ground, though. Cold and Acorn are trying to make a superstar podium finish here with the win if they can help it. But Pollo's still in this too, holding on as he takes down Bryce right now. There is so much unfolding here. Reet gets hurt big time here, and he gets traded with Ritual there too. Vanilla's gonna finish off Reet. Pollo's gonna swing his way through. Top 5 now. 8 players remaining.
Threats being one of them. Pollo trying to stay incognito. But again,
my
take
gosh.
a look. Clicks Epic in the ultimate high ground currently. Acorn Cold, secondary height. Could
No way.
potentially be looking to make a play. Poyo just
Gotta grab him.
slithering on by. Nobody recognizing the fact that this solo is located in the boxes directly underneath them. Can hear all that foot traffic moving around him, doing his best to stay undiscovered. Epic gets a big chunk out of Cold, but it's gonna be Cold who turns things around. Double elimination here onto Clicks and Epic Whale.
Oh, and another one. And now it's Duke and Threats on the low ground here. Acorn and Cold have fought their way all the way up to first place, and it doesn't matter how you cut it. They will be your grand finals champions here, but can they close it out on a win? They sure can. A huge tag there, of course. Cold's gonna hit it back to back, and they do it again here. A year later, from Chapter 4 to Chapter 5, we have winners.
Stole the words right out of my mouth there, MDF. The fact that Acorn and Cold are able to replicate their success from the very first major of Chapter 4 and now here in Chapter 5, starting things off with a bang.
Just incredible. Very rarely do you see your first place team ride it into a victory royale for an undisputable championship victory. That is the way you close out a game of Fortnite. And if we thought they had a lackluster performance here or there and they were barely holding on, well, guess what? They did it unarguably in clean fashion. Congratulations to Acorn and Cold as they do it again. You know Man City's happy with their most recent signing. You know Dignitas is going to celebrate today as they have another championship win under their belt. Just incredible.
Yeah, but also have to point out the fact that, yes, Acorn and Cold, they won it in Chapter 4 Major 1 as well, but if you think about what happened with EU, Merstache also, he won Chapter 4 Season 1 with Tayson. He also found his Victory Royale, his Axe of Champions lift yet again. So really cool stuff between EU and NA. Always love seeing the overlap in that storyline.
Well, we've seen a lot here today, and with that, for myself, Monster D-Face, and of course the Best Taco, we thank you guys for watching at home. We got to see the standings, so there's just so much on the line, so we're going to send on over to Des to start wrapping this up.
Thank you so much, The Best Taco and Monster D-Face. Amazing cast this weekend. Wow. The competition comes to a close. We can definitively say Acorn and Cold have walked away your Major 1 champions, which also means they have claimed the first spot going to the Global Championships later this year. The double whammy, Axe of Champions held high and a confirmed spot. Now it's all about later on this year, the focus. Can they come back and win the Global Championship?
How in the world is this duo so consistent? Let's look at their placements from last year. First, 6th, 7th at Globals, and then starting off this year with a first place. How is that even a real stat line? Kelly, this duo, even sometimes solo performances individually, they are just so good on an entire another level. And then to do it with a victory lap, to win the last game, to stand on business. What?
They absolutely.
Alright, let's check the leaderboard. I want to see it with my very own eyes.
Going to win the whole thing at Globals, and after this performance, it definitely looks like that is highly likely.
We got the Malibuki interview today, and it was actually really good.
Crazy coincidental stats, like we heard.
Is there a way for me to check or? Fortnite tracker.
All of these duos that we see here in the top 10 should
Who won?
to improve and potentially take on Acorn and Cold once again.
Yeah, I think that's what I've got my eyes on, right? It's like when we come back in major number 2, we see kind of how this all unfolds.
Clicks in Epic and
The
fourth.
fact that I feel like this format really kind of favored them and their playstyle, well deserved.
Himself at the top of leaderboards after years of competing. He is.
It was such all of these duos that we
Yikes. Alright guys, that'll be it for this stream. I'll see you next time.